Hey guys, it's Rob Moister and welcome back to another movie review. Now today we're reviewing probably one of the most anticipated movies of this year, Tenet. So Tenet is directed by the famous director Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan has directed so many good movies it will take a century for me to list all of them up. But some of the movies he has directed is Inception, the Dark Knight trilogy, the Batman trilogy, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Memento, and now Tenet. Those are just some of them. He also has directed many other great films, but that is just some of them. Now, I am a huge Christopher Nolan fan. I love him as a director. I think he does a great job and one of the best directors ever. He's definitely one of my favorites. So I was super hyped for Tenet because I knew that Christopher Nolan was directing this movie and the movie has an astonishing cast. So without further ado, guys, let's talk about it. So let's start off with the good. Now, my favorite thing about this movie was the characters and their performances. Let's start off with Robert Pattinson here. I think his character does a great job. His character is so charming, so likable, and he's just so fun to watch on the screen. And definitely after I have seen this performance of Robert Pattinson, I am just much more excited for the Batman that he will also star in, and also The Devil All the Time. I think Robert Pattinson, he has been good, stepping out of the Twilight role. Not now, just everybody just knows him as Twilight, the Twilight vampire. But I think he, like the last couple of years, he had been very good. So I think he has been very good stepping out of that role. Also, John David Washington here is very good. He's the son of Denzel Washington. I think he does a great job in this film. He definitely shines here, and he definitely carries this film all the way through because his performance here was also very good. So let's talk about Nolan's directing. Now, as I said before, I love Christopher Nolan, and he also did a great job with this movie, of course. The way he shoots his scenes are incredible, especially the action scenes in this movie. The way he shoots them are just so cool. The action here, when we are talking about the action here is fantabulous. Like, it is so cool. We have explosions here going backwards and people fighting backwards, and it's just so fun to watch. Now, during the action scenes, Christopher Nolan does not use any CGI at all. Every explosion, everything is practical, and I think that is so cool, and you really can see it during the film that this is practically made. One thing I think is very cool that they actually did was they blew up an entire plane for this movie just because they didn't want to do CGI explosions but practical, and that is just so amazing. And I have mad respect to Christopher Nolan as a director for using practical effects instead of CGI, and you really can see in this movie it looks very good. Now, I think the pacing here is very good. The movie does not feel rushed, or the movie does not feel slow. Now, this movie has a runtime of 2.5 hours, so it is pretty long, but I did not feel bored at all during the film. Now, I was really blown away by the soundtrack here. I think the soundtrack was amazingly cool in this film. And also, sometimes in the film, the music was going backwards. I thought that was pretty cool. So I really love the sound and the music in this movie, especially in the third act, the final battle. I really think that the music there was very good. So with all of that said, let's start off to talk about something I probably didn't enjoy. So what my issue with this film was, you really had to focus on what was going on in this film if you were going to keep up on the story. Now, in the first 30 minutes, the first act of the movie, there's a lot of dialogue between the characters, a lot of information that comes to the viewer, and you really have to focus on what you're saying, focus on what's happening in order to follow up on the story. So, I thought the movie was a bit confusing there, and sometimes you don't quite understand what's going on. So you really have to focus on what's happening. But, I don't think it was necessarily a bad thing, because later in the film you kind of understands it a bit better. But in the first act you really have a hard time understanding what's going on, because you really have to focus on what they're saying. But with that said, this movie is not necessarily a bad movie. I really enjoyed this movie, and I think this movie is great. Now, this movie is probably one of my most favorites of this year so far, and also I think this movie definitely deserves to be seen on a big screen, especially IMAX. And I really am glad that Nolan just didn't drop this on VOD like some other films did, because this was a huge movie that I really think fitted for the big screen, because this was amazing to see in the theater. So I would give Tenet a 9 out of 10. So that was my review for Tenet. What do you guys think? If you have watched Tenet yet, please let me know in the comment section what you thought of it. And also, if you haven't seen it yet, are you hyped for this movie and will you go watch it? Please let me know in the comment section. I love to have a conversation down there with you guys. So without further ado, guys, please let me know down in the comment section. Now, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a like on this video, hit the notification bell. I would appreciate it a lot, guys. So again, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.